Life Hacks HQ for entrepreneurs who want 100x. Guys, AI is here, okay? Not just here, meaning I'm giving you the different tools with the AI software and resources that you can use for your business, but I'm also bringing you AI research because I want you to understand the job market is changing. Hello, is this thing on? Yes, it is, yes. The job market is changing. So if you work at like a Panera Bread, a McDonald's or anything like that, I want you to understand AI are coming to take over your jobs. AI is taking over 80 million jobs in America, guys. 80 million people are gonna be without jobs due to AI. But you know what AI is also gonna do? AI is gonna create a lot of millionaires. You hear me? A lot of millionaires. Why? Because when entrepreneurs can streamline their businesses, streamline their projects, they're going to make a lot more money. However, when 9-to-5 workers lose their jobs because AI is taking over the warehouses, is taking over the fast food, is taking over the service industry, as it relates to the people-to-people service, a lot of people are going to be impacted by it. Think I'm playing? Check this out.
I told you that robotics and AI is coming to retail. It's going to destroy jobs. If you don't they're going to get rid of you. Look at this.
And that's just the half of it. The more important half is what I'm about to talk to you about right now. The most important reason why financial services and financial education is important, guys, you guys got to understand two things are happening right now. We're going to a cashless system. And as we transition into a cashless system, digital currencies and cryptocurrency assets, just like we saw the CEO of BlackRock.
More and more global investors are asking us about the role of crypto. And as I said, I do believe a lot of crypto is going to be, it's an international asset.
Explain that crypto assets are global assets. So we need to start paying attention to the global assets that are out there in the cryptocurrency market, because guess what? The world is paying attention to it. And if you don't pay attention to it, we go into a cashless system. There's no more 9-to-5 employees. What are they going to do? Because they're not going to take your paper money. That's another conversation. But let's keep it focused on what I'm talking about here, okay? The reason why it's important, ladies and gentlemen, to me personally, for you to be financially educated about financial services, about the financial industry as African Americans in this country is very simple. Pay attention to this.
I think you build a foundation of your speech on working against identity politics. Yet, I think so conveniently, and it was kind of ignorant, that all of your examples of oppression or people going through struggle were all from the black community. So if you could so conveniently use one specific ethnicity to kind of propagate your ideals, is that not identity politics in itself?
You allege I only spoke about what black people face in this society, and that that's a form of identity politics. In fact, it is not. First of all, I spoke about the Bangladeshi women in the sweatshops sewing our clothes. I talked about women who've been forced to have children against their will in that form of enslavement. I spoke about trans people who have faced over 500 laws this year introduced or passed. Not to mention the terror that's enforced against them. I spoke about what happens on this planet as a whole as it is heating due to the destruction of climate change driven forward by the system of capitalism, imperialism. So if you missed all that, I'm not surprised if you also missed some of the scientific undergirdings of it. But to be fair, I will walk through it again. I speak about black people in a very pronounced way when we come to revolution, because the exploitation, the enslavement, the dehumanization, and the degradation that's been inflicted on black people is foundational to this society and this system. And that is scientifically a fact. It's evidence-based. The wealth of this country, the territorial reach of this country, the military strength of this country got its roots in American slavery, the chattel slavery of black people. And then on that foundation, the ideology of white supremacy, of black inferiority was propagated. It was made a bedrock, of one of the glues of this society, and it has been woven into this society ever since. The forms of oppression have changed. It took a civil war to end slavery, but then what happened? After not even 10 years of Reconstruction, where black people were brought into some rights within this country, that was betrayed. The troops were pulled out, and black people were re-enslaved in new conditions, slavery by another name, sharecropping for generations, serf-like conditions enforced through terror, lynch mob terror and violence. And the troops were pulled out to go and finish off the extermination of the native peoples. Okay? Then, Another generation comes up in the face of changes in the U.S. economy and the need to pull black people out of the South and into the factories. Black people stood up and they waged struggle in the civil rights movement. They gave their lives. They stood up. White people stood with them. They went down from the North and stood with them. This upended Jim Crow. It was heroic that many did just unbelievably brave things. And then that was dismantled. And what did this system come back with? A new Jim Crow of mass incarceration that has ground up millions of black lives. So when I tell the story, this is science, when I tell the story of a black woman in Harlem with binoculars next to her window watching in terror every time her 12-year-old, 13-year-old son crosses the street because of what police do every day to black people. Every fucking day. When I talk about that, that is a particular that concentrates a huge reality that is defining to this country. And that's scientifically true. It's evidence-based. It's woven into the fabric of this society. It's culture, it's economics, and it's global reach. And so we could debate. If you want to argue that's not scientific, bring some evidence. If you didn't hear the science, then please. No, go ahead. Go ahead. Tell me that it's a marginal thing. Tell me that to talk about that, I'm pimping off of it. I'm acknowledging reality. You want to say it's not defining to this country, that we shouldn't talk about it?
I want you to talk about it.
I am talking about it, yeah.
Okay, so just the fact that something actually happened or is true,
Yeah.
doesn't, anything that's empirically based is not science, right? It's like saying anything that's true is scientifically, like, it's science. It's not. So I understand what
Okay.
you're trying to say.
Okay, let me help. Oh, go ahead. Maybe he should get the mic.
I understand that your point is I want to be building arguments based on reason and rationale.
Here, take the mic just so it gets...
I understand that your point is I want to be building arguments on reason and rationale, but that doesn't mean that it's scientific, and that doesn't mean that it's false or wrong.
Okay.
I'm saying that the validity of your argument doesn't increase by throwing the word science out. Is all I was trying to say.
Okay, so I would argue that science actually can be applied to all of reality, not just narrowly in engineering or in the natural sciences. No, this is important. What you're raising is widely felt, it's widely believed, it's widely taught, I'm sure, on this campus, that you can apply science to medicine, to nature, to the natural world. There's the hard sciences, but when you get to social reality, it's just opinions, it's experience, whatever. No. You can apply science to everything. Everything that is part of reality, which societies are, can be analyzed scientifically. Yeah. All science means, in a universal sense, is it's an evidence-based process. You gather evidence about reality, and you look for the deeper causes of the patterns in reality. And you can apply that to a society, just like you can apply it to a rainforest, just like you can apply it to a virus. You can say, what is the most defining thing about any given society? What undergirds it? What are the laws and its functioning? And a scientific analysis of this society says the most defining thing about this country is it's a capitalist, imperialist mode of production. That all of our needs are met through exploitation and people laboring in conditions all over the world to get the food we need, the clothes we wear, the pens we use, the microphones. All of this is created through global networks of production. And that all of our cultures, all of our ways of living, all of our ways of relating grow out of and have to reflect and more or less correspond to that. And so when we live in a society where the exploitation and oppression of black people has been woven into that mode of production all the way down to today, it leads to the culture and the society and the kind of police terror that we have today. That's applying science to a social contradiction.
Now that you got a chance to see that, you understand exactly where I'm coming from. So when you see stories like this pop up, where here in my state of Florida, you know, they're changing how black people or racism or black history is being taught in schools. You guys got to understand that's the same way history is always whitewashed. Keep in mind, history is told by the victors, guys, the people who win. And the people who win are what? The enlightened one, the people with the knowledge, the people with the insight, the people with the information. So again, as I bring you these life hacks, guys, it's important that you apply, because while some of you guys are definitely going to lose your jobs because your companies are going to downsize, you can't say Jason Miller didn't give you some life hacks that you could use AIs to create your own business, start your own platform, do your own trading, understand crypto assets, and buy some assets so as a currency market change, you could be one of the people to go from last to first in the name of Jesus, as it's been biblically prophesied. But don't take my word for it. It's going to be your decision. Again, ladies and gentlemen, your purpose on this earth is not to please me, nor is it to fulfill some unfulfilled emotional parent-childhood need. Ain't no mystery. Check the history. Let everyone be proud of their very own deeds. God bless, God's best, and as always, Godspeed. Jason Miller, your money monster, leaving you with something to ponder. Till next time.
Somebody come from what you've seen, what you've heard, the lifestyle that you've led. How do you then have enough confidence in yourself to think that you can become a Stormy Wellington? How does that happen?
Everybody, we have these inclinations that life could be better than this, whatever that is. But I then think that there's a defining moment. Something happens, whether someone dies or you become so broke and you realize there has to be something else. I just answered my desire. It was a seed of greatness on the inside of me. So I really looked around and I was like, if she could be successful, he could be successful. And I'm like, man, I'm gonna try it. And I tried. I just did not like my life. And I just decided to make something of myself. And I put myself in environments where people were doing amazing.